A rumor is tearing through social media. Starting in December 2026, the United States will automatically register young men aged 18 to 25 for a military draft. With tensions simmering in the Middle East, the news sparked immediate, widespread panic. The reality is much less sensational. The United States military has not utilized an active draft in over 50 years. Conscription effectively ended alongside the Vietnam War. Reactivating a draft would require a deliberate act of Congress and a new law signed by the president. It is not something the executive branch can do unilaterally. The military has no immediate plans to draft anyone, which makes the sudden high-tech overhaul of the registration machinery look significantly out of place. This transition functions as an administrative rescue mission. The existing manual system has become so dysfunctional that it is quietly turning millions of young men into accidental felons. By 2023, compliance with the mandatory registration law dropped to 39.9%. The system of relying on 18-year-olds to sign themselves up has effectively collapsed. To understand why the government is taking the wheel in 2026, we have to trace a 50-year history of shifting laws and a struggling bureaucracy. When the United States transitioned to an all-volunteer military force in 1973, it suspended the active draft. However, the administrative machinery of conscription was left fully intact. That machinery sat dormant until 1980, when President Jimmy Carter reversed course and officially reinstated the requirement for 18-year-old men to manually register with the Selective Service. Carter made this decision in direct response to a specific geopolitical crisis. The Soviet Union had just invaded Afghanistan, and the White House wanted to signal military readiness. But his new system contained a massive psychological flaw. Without a highly publicized active war, citizens naturally forget or completely ignore a legal requirement to sign up for a dormant draft. To solve this, the government implemented a bureaucratic workaround. From the 1980s through the 2010s, lawmakers tied draft registration directly to essential government benefits, including federal employment and student financial aid. This diagram illustrates how the coercion functioned. If a young man wanted to receive a federal student loan to attend college, he had to fill out the FAFSA. If he checked the box to register for the draft, the loan was approved. By tying the draft to student loans, the government successfully masked the fragility of the manual registration system for decades. That illusion shattered in 2022. To simplify financial aid, Congress decided to remove the selective service question from the FAFSA form a tar melody. The primary driver of compliance vanished overnight. Without the financial incentive to remind them, 18-year-olds simply stopped registering. The administrative aftermath was absurd. The Selective Service system morphed into a $30 million advertising agency, running digital campaigns begging teenagers to log on and comply with federal law. The permanent fix arrived quietly, buried deep inside the fiscal year 2026 National Defense Authorization Act. Under this new law, the burden of registration shifts entirely away from the individual. The Selective Service will now automatically pull data from existing federal sources, like the DMV and Social Security Administration, to enroll eligible men. Lawmakers prioritized automation to stabilize a database that was quickly becoming obsolete. The 2026 automatic rule carries immediate practical benefits. It ends the era of accidental non-compliance, shielding millions of young men from potential felony charges and massive fines, while saving taxpayer money previously wasted on outreach campaigns. It also has a powerful secondary effect. By aggregating federal databases, the system seamlessly expands to include marginalized populations who previously fell through the cracks, capturing the records of undocumented men and immigrants. However, this seamless integration has triggered fierce pushback from anti-war organizations who view the automation as a dangerous overreach. Critics raise severe privacy concerns. They argue that pooling sweeping amounts of federal data makes the system vulnerable to weaponization, creating a massive registry that could be misused against transgender individuals and immigrant youth. There is also a strategic argument. Activists warn that a perfectly updated automated database removes a critical administrative guardrail. If the list is already compiled and ready, it becomes far too easy for future politicians to initiate a draft without facing logistical friction. The 2026 automatic registration law functions as the quiet modernization of conscription machinery. While the draft remains a relic of the past, the database behind it is now ready for the future.